Want to be sure you're getting the most out of your retirement for all the years of your retirement? That's the primary goal of More Living with Jim Brogan and our Dollars and Cents segment, where we provide you with an important financial tip that will help positively impact the quality of your life in retirement. And now here's Jim with this week's Dollars and Cents tip.
Today I want to talk about end-of-the-year tax planning, especially in light of what's going on with the fiscal cliff. And, you know, we don't know what our tax brackets, our tax rates are really going to look like even next year, much less further into the future. I think the most important thing is that we not go overboard with this, especially in the short term. And here's why. If you're still working, I'm a big believer that tax rates over the next 10, 15 years are going to go up and are going to go up probably somewhat dramatically and will go up for not just the highest income earners, which, of course, the way that's being talked about in Washington is joint filers over $250,000 a year of taxable income and other filers is over $200,000. I think it'll come down lower than that eventually, not necessarily in the next 2 years, but long term. But many of you, if you look at the income you're earning that's taxable while you're working versus the taxable income you'll have once you're retired, many of you will see a fairly substantial drop in taxable income when you're in retirement, especially if you're a high income earner while you're working. You'll see a dramatic decrease in taxable income. Even the highest earners will see that. So because you don't have the earned income anymore, even your draws from savings, some of that will be taxable, but some of it with good tax planning will not be taxable for many. So don't go overboard with this. Now, where I think it makes a lot of sense is if you're already retired and you're in your 60s and you've got large retirement account balances, once you turn 70 and a half, you're going to have to start taking distributions from those retirement accounts and be fully taxed on most, if not all, of that money you're taking out. And the first few years, it's a little bit less, or right around, if you figure 4% roughly. It's a little less than 4 initially, but if you figure 4%, so if you've got a large balance, do the math on that. 4% on $500,000 is a $20,000 distribution. On $1 million, it's a $40,000 distribution. That's all taxable. So if your income now is in a lower bracket, like maybe 15%, and you're retired, makes a lot of sense to consider filling up that tax bracket. Even if you're in a 25 or 28% tax bracket, it might make sense to fill up that tax bracket now. And the smart way to do that would be to think about a Roth conversion. Fill up that tax bracket, and then, because your taxable income's or your tax rate will likely be higher in the future. You can also look at things like health savings accounts while you're still working. If you have a health savings account, you can get a deduction on that. Be careful, though, with Roth conversions. Starting in next year, you could see a surtax. If you're a high earner, you could see a surtax from the new Affordable Health Care Act. So there are some things to look at with end-of-year tax planning. Maybe look at realizing some capital gains taxes on investment now rather than in the future. But overall, I would say don't overreact to it because, again, many of you will see your taxable income go down in retirement. So even if taxes go up, your actual tax rate may not. So tread with caution and use good planning and common sense of how you want these dollars to benefit you in your retirement.
And that's our Dollars and Cents segment for this week. You can find this week's Dollars and Cents segment and others by visiting BroganFinancial.com.